Go Maret, go Maret, go, 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 go. Okay, we literally had a dance party because of the retrieval of this video. You know, in the previous video, someone asked me that yeah, that was treasure asked me that I couldn't upload the sewing video. But here we are, we got it. Let's dive in. Okay, guys, let's dive into the sewing of our blazer jacket. All you have to do after drafting and cutting out is to cut on your fabric. Now, in cutting on your fabric, you want to cut the main fabric and your lining. Yes. So for the lapel area, I cut out my fabric differently that I want to show at the lapel, and also I use my interfacing on that area only. Then the rest are just the lining and the fabric. Also, when cutting out, make sure to take note of your seam allowances. Very important. So this is the collar. I also cut out the main fabric and the lining part, and that's the sleeve with the main fabric and the lining also. So to begin, you are going to take off the pins, of course, before you start sewing. So like I said, with the seam allowance, it's very important you add your seam allowances that will be enough for you. So I added just half inches to the areas that will be joined together, and the side seams are about 3/4 of an inch to 1 inch, depends on what you work with, what you like to work with. So to start off with the sewing, I'm going to start off with the back, and you can see the lining part, you can see the main fabric like I'm showing you. Now this is the right side that we're on right now. The wrong side is facing the table, you can see. Okay, now this is the layout it's supposed to have, and remember that our back did not have a zipper allowance and it has an opening, so we are going to join that opening because the only place we need opening on this dress is the front. So we're going to join just like I just showed us. So I joined the center back and the princess tie line area. So after joining, you're going to iron this later. So just set it aside. Then let's do similar thing to the front. So for the front, you know the center front will be left open because we have our button extension and our lapel there. So the only part you're joining is the princess tie line area. There's a princess seam area. So you're only joining the sides. So to join, of course, you know, is to match up right side to right side to do your joining. So I usually go from down to up when doing my joining. I don't know which works for you. Whichever works for you, just work with it. Now this is the front. We've joined them together. And you can see how the bust area is sitting out because of our bust dart intake that we transferred to our princess tie line area. You can see that. So later you're going to take this to your ironing board and iron that out too. And this is the front lining. You can see how it's sitting pretty with the bust area curved out like so. And you can see my flowery fabric that I used there. Yes, this matches up with my trouser. And because I don't have enough of that fabric, I have to do that patchwork like so. Now this is the back and the main fabric and the lining. Now on the lining, you can see I have about 5 to 6 inches hole there. This is very important. You add it when you are sewing so that you use that point to turn out when you're done. Now we are going to iron. Now when ironing on the princess tie line area, you need to notch or you can trim down as much as possible. This will allow your seam to sit out nice, okay, to stay flat while you iron and when you're done ironing too. Okay, so whatever I did for the main fabric I also did with the lining. Okay, Now is the time to join. You're going to place right side facing the right side, the front and the back to join the shoulder line. And this is the shoulder line that I've joined here. And now is the side. You still place it the same way, right side facing right side, and you join. So after joining, this is what we have. You can see that I joined about 3/4 of an inch. It's not good you have too much seam allowance at the side there, so that the seams there will lay flat when you iron. Okay, now this is the sleeve. You're going to join the sleeves like that all the way down. So I've done that for the two sleeves. But before we continue, I want to add an interface to my shoulder line. Now this interface is like something you see like a shoulder pad in suits or jackets, but here I'm using an interface seam. This interface has a gum side. It has a side that has a gum that you can use to iron down on the fabric. So what I did is just a 3 by 3 inches square, then I created a curve out of that square. It's very, very easy because something very small is nothing too big to handle. So after that, I looked for the midpoint there, because that midpoint is where you will match up with your shoulder line. So because it has an adhesive surface, that's a gum face, I am going to use my iron to hold it in place with the fabric. So that's what I just did there. Nothing too serious. So if you don't have an interface fabric, but you have a foam or something, you can use that in place of the interface. I think this particular interface is called wadding also in the market. It's soft but not strong. It is thick and soft but not strong. I don't know how to explain that. So back on our table, and now we're going to put in our sleeve. For the sleeve, you have to put it from the right side of your jacket. You can see what I'm doing. I turned it out to the right side. Then I placed it into the right side of my jacket, then matching it up on the armhole. So after doing that, this is what we have. Our jacket is coming up little by little. Yeah. So you can see that armhole area, how it matches up like so. And because you stitch down that part, your interface or your foam will not fall off. Yeah. So the next thing is the collar. So this is our collar. You unpin it. Because I didn't cut mine on fold, I'm going to stitch it down. So if you didn't cut yours on fold, you can stitch it down, but you can still decide to cut yours on fold. It's still the same thing. So after stitching it down, I'm going to match that up with the neckline area to attach the collar. So I already have the center back and I already have my seam on the collar, so it's easy to match up. So after matching up, I found that there is an extension, a little bit, about 1/2 inch or so. So I just trimmed that out because my notch area is supposed to match up. So unless you did your own notch not to match up, then the collar can be bigger than the lapel area. So this is me marking my 2 inches notch point, or was it 1 inch? It's 2 inches, yeah. 2 inches notch point. That point now is where I'll stop when matching up my collar to my neckline. And right here I've done that, but I've just done it on one side. I've not done the other side. You can see, I just want to show you guys. You can see that. So you can see if you have your extension, no problem. If that's what you want, no problem. So here I've attached it to both sides and we are going to continue. And right here is the lining part of the front. Everything that we've done to the main fabric, we're going to do it to the lining part. Yes, all the joining and all the sleeves attachment and all the collar attachment, You're going to do it to the lining part. And after that, this is what we have here. This is it. So it's looking like a jacket already, just like the main fabric. So now it's time to join. Now to join, you're going to start from the hemline. That's the down part of your jacket. You can see how I'm tucking in all the sleeves, so it doesn't pop out anywhere. The sleeves, everything lies inside, and you're placing your fabric right side facing the right side. So right side of your lining facing the right side of your main fabric, and you're going to match up every point. You can see, match up the points. You can use your pin to pin all the points down. Okay, so I'm just showing you the way you're going to sew all of this. Even the notch area, you're going to sew everything together. Right side facing the right side. Okay, so this is the downside. I've matched up the down area and I've sewn it down. You can see that. So that's the first place you want to sew. Now, before we continue, I wanted to add a design on the sleeves, but I forgot. And at this point was where I remembered. Just the flowery fabric, I want to add it to the edge of the sleeve. So I just cut out the square that I need and I placed it. I just marked the area I want it to be and I placed it that way. It's very simple. Though I didn't cut out the main fabric because that flowery fabric itself is not thick at all. So I just left it that way and I'm done. So going back to our joining now. Now we're going to join the lapel area, that's from the button extension down to the collar. That's what we're going to join now. Now, if you watch me, there's something I'm doing. I am folding out the main fabric a little bit so that the lining does not pop downward when I'm done sewing. So just like 1/4 of an inch, you pop it out a little. I'm going to demonstrate that again. So you pop it out a little like so. Can you see? I hope you can see that. Then you sew it down. So I am done sewing down the button extension area, that's the lapel area, down to the collar. Now we are on the collar area. This is where you really have to be careful. So you want to make sure that the notches matches up. The notches for the main fabric and the notches for the lining fabric. So I found out that mine didn't really match up and I had to lose some points, then close some points down, and so on and so forth. So just make sure yours matches up very well before you continue sewing. So on the neckline also, you can notch it. You can notch the neckline area. You know we have a curve there, so that when you iron, everything will sit flat. Everything will stay flat and pretty. So if you've not subscribed to my channel, this is the right time to click the subscribe button, like and share this video. Turn on the notification bell also, and I want to see your comment in the comment section below. So I've done all the notches that I want to do for the main fabric and the lining. So here I'm matching up the notch area of my lapel. So after matching them up, I went ahead to sew. So after sewing, we're going to turn. Now this is the part where you need that hole, because you're going to turn everything out. Now before turning out, it is very important you trim off every excess seam allowance and notch all the points that are necessary to notch. Now the points that are really necessary to notch are your cores, the areas you have cores, and if you have too much seam allowances on the joining points, this is the time to notch them out or trim them off before turning. So it might take you some time to turn, but you actually get there. So after turning, I concentrated so much on the collar area because that's where the beauty lies, I would say. So I turned it out, just the collar area. Then I started creating notches on that curved area, the V area, that area that creates the notch itself. You know, it's like a V. So you need to notch that point. And mind you guys, do not use your scissors to point out the edge. You know, you need to point out the edge of those notch areas. So don't use your scissors. Your scissors may pierce through your fabric, and oh god, you don't want that to happen. Okay. So I kept going back and forth, bringing out the notch area, trimming off, you know, just to get a perfect finish until I did. So here is me ironing that point out. You see the notch sitting pretty. So I went ahead to iron that notch area and every other points that are necessary. Now remember guys that we've not joined our sleeves. We've not joined the sleeve of the main fabric to the sleeve of the lining. So this is the time to do it. So all you have to do is turn to the wrong side. No, your wrong side now is your lining part. Yes. So from the hole, you're going to put your hands into that hole. Okay. Put your hands into the hole. Let your hands come out from the lining point like this. Then you're going to tuck in the seam of the main fabric and the seam of the lining into your fingers, holding it so tight. Then pull it out. Don't let it slip. So when you do this, you're going to match up the seam when you come out from that hole. So with your pins, you can hold this down. You can hold it down. Don't let it slip away. It's very important that it is in place the way you took it. So when you join, it will be the sleeve of the right of your main fabric facing the sleeve of your lining. So I'll do the same thing to the other side. Just put your hands into it. Let your hands come out from the lining part. Tuck in the seam. That's the seam where you join the sleeves. Okay, let them tuck into your fingers. From there you pull it out, and this is it. So when you join, to be the sleeves facing the sleeve like this. So after joining, this is what we have. Yeah, this is how you should have it. So from your right side, just pull out. From your right side, that's the main fabric. You pull out for the main fabric. You pull out, and that's it. So guys, we are almost done with our jacket, and you can see it's sitting out so pretty at this point. And man, I love doing this work. I loved filming this. That was why I was so heartbroken when I couldn't retrieve the video, but I still thank God I got it. So you can see our hole at the lining area. So that hole will be closed later with a blind stitch, or the stitch they call invisible stitch, by hand stitching anyway. That's how you close it. But though I didn't show it in this video, I didn't get that clip out. I couldn't get that clip. So guys, here is me ironing for the last time, or one more time, because this cannot be the last time. You still need to iron again and again. And I've used my steam, as I'm using the water and my iron. Yeah, create a steam. Yeah, so if you have a steam iron, you can use yours to iron this out. And thank you all so much for the love you showed me on the previous video. I'm so glad you guys loved that video and you're able to learn a lot, or few, or one or more, or one or two things from that video. Okay, so guys, we are done. So all you have to do is iron all the way, iron all the way, iron all the way. And to close that hole, like I said, use a hand stitch called invisible stitch. It's very simple to do. So you can just Google that, you can browse it out. You'll be able to see how to do that. It's very, very simple to go about. Okay, so you can see our notch and you can see the jacket. What I love more about the jacket is the princess style line. It's so pretty, like I love that aspect. Alright guys, remember to like this video, share, subscribe if you've not subscribed to my channel. And those of you that have been here, I say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. So at this point, we've come to the end of our video on how to make the jacket. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.